In this video, I do my best to play the long game here to bring home a decent result in this one, but it is made almost impossible by wave after wave of incidents and clashes with, how can I describe them, undesirables. Hey guys, Irius here and welcome along to another video. If this is your first time here and you like watching all sorts of sim racing related stuff, then subscribe now and click the bell icon so you get notified of every video I upload and you don't miss a thing. So you join me here in quali for this one. We are in the latest round of the FIA Nations Cup series here at Major. I have bucked the trend somewhat and gone with a different car to pretty much the entire rest of the field here, which did hamper my qualifying pace, but this decision was made very much with the race proper in mind. So as we come across the line to take 15th with a 135.1 here, we excitedly and optimistically move on to the race proper. So I asked in the last video everyone's thoughts on the wheel cam. You all seem to really like it, seeing the wheel and comparing my inputs against the behaviour of the car. So I consider the people to have spoken and it's going to be a remaining feature on the channel. But back to the race then. Coming into turn 1 with a full tank of fuel, in somewhat of a trademark of mine now, I'm going to go straight on here at turn number 1. But I managed to just about keep it out of the wall, but I'm going to get a load of opposite lock there on the exit as I try and get the power down. It's going to cost me 15th that mistake, but thanks to these longer races it isn't so much of a problem. So I actually have time this time to settle in and let this race strategy pan out. I also have a moment here to introduce the race. So we are in a N300 class race here for 17 laps of Major. The strategy today in this one is a no stopper, and I have bucked the trend and gone with the KTM crossbow over the most popular choice, you can see them everywhere there, the Toyota SFA. Now I chose this car because I just felt more comfortable in it. It is also very easygoing on the tyres and will easily get us to the end here without any real issues with tyre wear. So the SFRs around me today will have a choice to make. Either stick it out on the tyres and do a no stopper or come in for some new boots. But a pit stop, as I mentioned, is something that won't be required from us today. Now the SFR has probably got the raw pace around here, as we saw in qualifying and as we're seeing right now as 15th pulls away, but I'm not really too concerned about the grid position at the moment. I expect this car to be much stronger and come into its own in the latter stages of the race as the SFR's tyres start to go off, and my aims for this one is to finish in the top 10 here. Rejoining the action here on the second half of lap number 3, we're making our way up the hill behind the Nutella SFR. Our race pace is starting to show a little bit now, and we're going to outbrake him into the final corner, promoting ourselves back up to our starting position, 15th place. Up in the distance there, working their way down the start finish straight almost 5 seconds up the road, you will see the next long line astern group of cars. A group of cars that I will be getting my head down and trying to close the gap to. Moving ahead to the start of lap number 8 now, the gap has come down by a couple of seconds over these last few laps, and the group in front, as you can see, are visibly closer now. But rather than concentrating and looking forward, I am being pressured by the fellow Brit behind here and have had to turn my attention to him for now. We're going to be side by side here as we come out of turn 3 and in through turn number 4, and he's going to go for the, well, in my view, unwise lunge up the inside. I don't defend it, I just watch him go past on the radar, as I know it's going to slow his exit speed right down, which means he's going to be compromised down the long straight. As expected here, we're already alongside and in prime position to pick our braking point, which is going to be a little bit earlier due to the more acute angle of the corner by actually being in the middle of the track. I just about get it stopped, but then get another boatload of opposite lock as I try and get the power down up the hill. But that's fine, we keep it all together and we've made the move stick, and the gap continues to come down to the group in front. Jumping ahead one lap here, and the strategy is starting to unfold. We're going along quite nicely here. Looking at our lap times on the right hand side, they are consistent, and the tyres looking in the bottom left are, as expected, looking absolutely fine. I've managed to drop the Brit for now behind, and are again closing right in on the group of 4 up ahead who are battling for 11th. Having a look at the mini map as well, the front 3 are pulling away quite nicely for them, but behind that, anything from 4th downwards is potentially looking like a possibility today. Coming up the hill here, we are now right with the guys in front. Both of the 2 in front, 13th and 14th, are going to go to the inside. I go to the outside to try a cutback using a late apex, but then the Brit is just going to chuck it up the inside, meaning I cannot turn in. So I'm going to stay right on the outside, even going on the grass to avoid contact. But then it's all going to be okay, because coming down the straight, the comparative grunt of the crossbow is going to take me past Alex here and up into 14th. Keep your eye on the radar here, as Shuby is just going to barge his way through behind, and casting my mind back to a few laps ago, I know what is going to be coming right here. I predict the lunge up the inside. Let's see if it happens. Keep an eye on the radar there, and yes, the lunge up the inside is going to happen again. He's going to continue his display of fine racecraft and leave me no room on the outside at all. I just about hang on to it, as you can see there from the wheel cam. I was really upset by that move, and I wanted to try and overtake him straight away and get my place back. But in my haste, I outbroke myself here and went really deep into the corner, costing myself 14th and 15th there, and even 16th. But thankfully, with these longer races, we still have the remainder of this lap and then 7 more to put things right and get after the top 10 we hoped for. The KTM up in front here is going to lose his rhythm coming up the hill, so I nip up the inside, being sure of course to leave him enough room on the outside so he doesn't have to take to the grass. And now we're going to have enough space to take my usual late apex here, as nobody's diving up the inside of us, into the final corner, which is going to allow me to straighten up quickly, get on the power nice and early, and get a run here on 15th. The difference in speed here between the cars, there's no match here, and we're going to go straight up and take 14th as we start lap number 12 of 17. But have a look up in front. All those cars there are incredibly close. People are also starting to come into pit, so clearly they are struggling on their tyres they're starting to wear, while ours, as we have a look, are still looking very good. Fast forwarding slightly here, the Brit's going to get it a little bit wrong, and we're going to overtake him. He was the guy, remember, that we were having problems with earlier. And so as we come up the hill here, we're going to be up to 14th now. The group up in front continues to battle. It just keeps on going on in this one. We're going to pick our braking point here, taking that late apex, hoping that the Brit isn't going to dive bomb us again, and they're going to temporarily go 3 wide up ahead. There's going to be no room on the outside here, so I'm going to move across to the inside, but then I'm going to pull out of it as we start lap number 13, as the move just wasn't on. But once again, keep your eye on the radar. Yes, again, it's this Shuby guy, and he's doing the same thing. He's just up the inside where he just shouldn't be. There's no gap there at all, so I don't really know why he's doing it, to be quite honest with you. I'm going to anticipate another lunge here, which it looks like he's going to do. He does actually pull out of it this time, but I leave him space and find myself right on the outside, so there's another boatload of opposite lock there that I'm having to apply just to keep this thing on the black stuff. Keep your eye up here, as the Brit there is going to have a look at the German. We almost make contact in the braking zone, and then we're going to get a good run here, a little bit of movement on the steering wheel but not too much, and we've got a great run up the hill here towards the S's. Picking our braking point here, getting this thing slowed down and then back on the power as early as we can, and we get a great run here through the S's up the hill. We're right behind the Brit now, and the only real opportunity here is going to be into this braking zone of the final corner. So I'm going to make him think as we just drop away a little bit there. I'm going to make him think that we're going to have a look. He's clearly starting to worry about me here, as he's going to brake a little bit too deep, miss his apex, which is going to allow us to get right alongside as we come down the hill here and overtake round the outside, or down the inside as it is now, as we start lap number 14. We're going to jump ahead here to a little bit further down the lap, and there are 6 cars in the group in front, meaning I end up only being a few seconds behind the front guy of the pack, who is in 7th place and still looking in good nick. We're going to get up to 13th here as the German, Bruno, is going to throw it up the inside coming into the S's. This is going to ruin the Brits' momentum up the hill, and an easy pass for us here, promoting us to 12th place. It is worth noting, as Bruno is going to feature heavily going forward, that he is coming for new boots and is clearly in a rush to get back through the pack and recover the position he was running in prior to his pit stop, which was up in the top 5. Bruno's going to continue with his BS moves here and chuck it up the inside here at turn number 4 and push the Brit out wide. And rather than letting him keep the place, he's going to try it again coming down the straight. Now there's a little argy-bargy going on there, and the Brit eventually is forced to concede the place. But I should have really known this is what this guy is all about. Moving on to the penultimate lap now, lap number 16. We're going to be promoted to 11th as the Brit does a me at turn number 1. But keep your eyes up ahead as Bruno continues with his absolute filth and is going to push his way through past the Frenchman into 9th place, forcing him all the way off the track entirely. Now the Frenchman is going to valiantly try and fight back here. He gives him a little knock himself here coming into turn number 4, and he's going to get a good run on him coming down the back straight. He's going to sit behind him here, waiting for as long as possible before diving out and trying to make a move up the inside at the bottom of the straight. This is going to surprise Bruno, I guess, because he's going to outbrake himself and he's going to compromise his run coming up the hill. So I see an opportunity. I dive down the outside here, get alongside Bruno, and he's just going to run me straight off the track. Now somehow I managed to save it, but all my momentum is going to be completely lost, and then to add insult to injury, this is going to happen. The Brit is going to overtake me up the inside here. We're alongside coming through the S's, and then for some reason, I don't know why, he's just going to turn into me. We aren't even at the corner yet. He's going to go flying off to the left. I almost lose it myself, and then I get unbelievably a 4-second penalty. I don't know if I'm upset or if I'm amazed, to be quite honest. In this one, a supposedly A-ranked plus lobby might I add, we experienced so many undesirables. We had Shuby the dive bomber, who just kept diving it up the inside and knocking us and knocking others. We obviously had Bruno, the absolute dirtbag, and then we had the last one. Well, I don't even know how to describe that one. I just have no idea what could potentially be going through someone's mind there. This lobby just felt like it was absolutely full to the brim of dirty drivers, and as I say, this is supposed to be the top ranked safety rating lobby in the entire game. The biggest joke of it all was Bruno, who I think is the culprit in all of this. Let me know who you think was the culprit in the comment section down below. But Bruno actually came home in 7th place, which goes to show where we could have ended up, but it wasn't meant to be again. We come home and take 14th, amazingly 1 place higher than we started, even after all of that rubbish. But as my place is confirmed here, I am again okay with it. I probably don't sound it, but I am okay with it, honestly. I am happy knowing that I did everything I could to race cleanly and properly. The flashes of promise are there again. I just need some luck and have a few races where I can avoid those who do not have the same desire to do well and race cleanly as me. Now, we've got Fuji in the Manufacturer Series up next. It was definitely a good race. Things got a lot better in that one. So make sure you have the notification bell clicked on so that you do not miss that one. But until then, guys, this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks again so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.